I'll never forget that night, a darkness so profound it seemed to have swallowed every star in the sky. That night was when it all began, and when it will never truly end. That evening, I was on my way to pick up my friend, John, from the airport. It was around 10 p.m., and the road was unusually desolate. As the city lights faded behind us, the car's headlights barely illuminated the pitch-black road ahead. Even the song on the radio seemed to echo in slow motion. John's flight was delayed, so I decided to take a shortcut, an old, abandoned forest road. I had no idea how much of a shortcut it would be, but all I cared about was getting there and breaking this silence. About 10 kilometers down the road, I suddenly gasped. Sudden emphasis, to the right, a single-story wooden train station appeared like a ghost. The walls were covered in moss, the windows were shattered, and it was overrun with vines. The air was damp, and the eerie sight looked like something out of a horror movie. I stopped for a moment, trying to make sense of what I was seeing. I had driven this road countless times and never remembered a train station being here. In fact, this area was nothing but dense forest. Stranger still, a pitch-black train stood in front of the station, right by the road. The window panes were so grimy I couldn't see inside, but gigantic, rusted chains were draped all over it. The very existence of this train was bizarre. There were no tracks or power lines. It was just a train, standing in the middle of nowhere, disconnected from time and space. I felt a strange mix of curiosity and dread. I didn't just see this strange train, I saw a light seeping out from between its doors. But this light wasn't yellow or white, it was blood red. Affected by the sight, I continued on my way. When I arrived at the airport, I told John about the bizarre experience. He was as shocked as I was. "I can't believe you're going to show me that road again," he said. "There was a station and a train there? Unbelievable." John's excitement, combined with the strange feeling I had, led us both to decide to go back and solve the mystery. As we turned onto that road again, a strange shiver went down my spine. I turned to John and said, "Look, I swear I've never seen this road before." John tried to reassure me, saying, "Don't worry, we didn't turn back that fast. It's only been about 15 minutes, but I felt that odd feeling." We approached the spot where the train station should have been. My heart was pounding. But there was no station, no train. The forest had returned to its former desolate state within the impenetrable darkness. Only the howl of the wind through the trees and bushes could be heard. I looked at John in shock. "Look, did you see?" I said. John replied, "What did you see? There's nothing here. What about that creepy train and station?" I couldn't believe my eyes. It was as if the train and station had never existed, as if they were just a figment of my imagination. When we got home, I tried to forget about what had happened that night. But every night in my dreams, I saw that station and that red light. A week later, John called. His voice was full of concern. "I found a photo here," he said. "It's unbelievable. It's a photo we took that night." I was shocked. "What? We didn't take any photos that night." John replied, "I don't know, but it's on my phone. I sent it to you." I opened my phone and looked at the photo John had sent. My heart stopped once more. In the photo, my car and I were standing in front of that abandoned train station. But where the train had been, there were now empty train tracks, and on the tracks, there was an old-fashioned, wooden suitcase. A black cloth with Arabic writing was wrapped around the suitcase. At that moment, I knew something was not right. A month passed. Everything had returned to normal, but I couldn't get that photo out of my mind. One day, I decided to drive down that old road again. I was alone this time, and I felt as if something was pulling me there. The same darkness, the same silence. But this time, in the spot where the station and train had been, a shadow appeared for a moment and quickly vanished. At that moment, I thought the shadow was a train car. When I got home, there was a package at the door that wasn't mine. Inside, there was a small, red stone that glowed like the red light that had seeped from the train that night. And next to the stone, on a faded, yellowing piece of paper, an Arabic word was written, "Stop." At that moment, I realized that whatever had gotten off that train was following me and they were after those who got off that old train. At midnight, I was woken by a tapping sound. Quiet, on the edge of my window, where the red stone had been, that same piece of paper with the Arabic words was now there. But this time, another word had been added next to that word, get off. That night, in my dream, I was on a journey inside that abandoned train. The passengers on the train were all silhouettes, their faces invisible. And in the last car of the train, a man with blood-red eyes sat in a chair, staring at me. Sudden emphasis, his eyes were the source of the red light that had seeped from the train. And at that moment, I understood that the train was a living entity beyond time and space, and its passengers were lost souls, not of this world. When I woke up, I thought it was all a dream, but on the piece of paper on the edge of my window, next to the words stop and get off, another word had been added, come. From that moment on, every night, I heard the sound of a train whistle. Slow. And that sound, each time, called me to that old, abandoned forest road. I know that train is waiting for me. One day, I will get on that train. Sudden emphasis, because I have come to understand that the train is not a journey, but an invitation to an end.